The ice moon of Zeller 7 was cold, silent, and deadly.
Out.
Snowstorms howled across its surface like wolves hunting in the dark. Nothing moved outside except machines and ghosts of war. Darren was a field medic, human, young, tired, and stuck far. From home, he'd seen enough blood in the last 2 weeks to last a lifetime. Most soldiers had been called back, but not him. He was told to stay in case of survivors. No one expected survivors. Not here. That night, a faint signal beeped through the Cum's broken, weak, nearly lost in the static. It came from the northern ridge. Everyone else ignored it. Could be a trap, one soldier said, not looking up, or a broken drone, another muttered. But Darren, he couldn't ignore it. He packed a med kit, loaded his pulse pistol, and took a snow crawler toward the ridge. The cold bit into his skin, even through his insulated suit. The wind screamed like it wanted to tear him apart. He followed the signal. Down into a ravine where the snow turned dark, burned by plasma fire. A crash site. Alien. Recent smoke curled from a twisted wreck of metal and glowing wires. Alien symbols blinked in fading red. The ship was torn open like a tin can, half buried. An ice darn moved carefully. No signs of life. No movement. Until a low moaned, he froze. Listened. There it was again. He rushed toward the sound, pushing broken panels aside with frozen hands. And there she was, curled between two beams. Her skin was pale blue, cracked at the edges like drying clay. Armor was dark silver, but broken. Blood stained the ground under her, her eyes barely opened. One was black, the other a glowing violet. She was beautiful and terrifying. Ixari. Warrior. The Ixari were enemies of Earth. They called humans meat beasts. No human had ever touched one and lived. She blinked at him. Her breathing was shallow. Her mouth moved. But no sound came. Her translator was broken. Her fingers twitched. She tried to lift her hand but failed. Darren looked at her chest monitor. Blood loss critical. Her heart was slowing. She had minutes. He checked her blood type from the scanner. No match. Nothing in the medkit would help. Her kind's blood was rare. No one had it. Not here, not now. She looked at him again. Her eyes were begging. Not with words, not with pride, just survival. Darren's heart pounded. Every training manual said no, but something inside him whispered yes. He touched her. Shoulder. She didn't flinch. She was too weak. I can't promise this will work, he whispered, but it's all I have. He took a small needle from the kit, hooked it into his arm, let his blood flow, slow, careful. A small transfusion line connected. To her veins he watched, waited. Nothing happened at first. Then her body jerked. Just once, her eyes opened wider, her chest rose. A sharp breath, another, her cracked lips moved. He leaned closer. Why? She whispered. He froze. The translator was still broken, but her voice reached him anyway. Soft, raw, real. Yo. Not my kind. I know, he said quietly. But you're still alive. She blinked slowly, as if that answer confused her. Her breathing calmed. Her fingers moved. She looked at their joined arms, the blood passing from him to her. Then she whispered something else, words he couldn't understand, but her tone, it was full of something strange. Not anger, not fear. Something deeper. Then her eyes fluttered. Shut. She was asleep. Alive. Darren sat beside her, his hand shaking slightly. What had he just done? He looked at the blood tube between them. Would it poison her? Would it change her? Would it change him? He didn't know. But one thing was certain, this wasn't over, and whatever he just started, it had only begun. Asterisk, the storm outside had quieted, but inside the small outpost, silence carried weight. Darren sat on the edge of his bunk, staring at the pale blue alien sleeping in the medical chamber. His own arm was wrapped, blood levels restored. With a regen shot, but something still felt off. The girl, no, the Ixari warrior, hadn't woken since the transfusion. Her chest now rose and fell smoothly. Her color had returned. Her vitals were normal. It should have made Darren feel better. It didn't. He had touched something forbidden. He had given human blood to an alien species that was genetically, biologically, and politically hostile. If Command found out, he'd be court-martialed. The Ixari Empire found out, he'd probably be disemboweled. He had done it anyway, because in that moment, under the broken metal, her eyes hadn't looked like an enemy's. They looked like someone who didn't want to die alone. Darren stood, walked over to the medical pod and studied her. Her face was still, lips slightly parted, breath soft. Her armor had been removed and placed beside the bed. He hadn't looked at her body much. He kept it professional, but now he noticed strange things. Her skin shimmered faintly under the low light. A glow, soft and silver blue, ran in slow patterns across her neck and shoulders like flowing water. Not like veins. It's more like light beneath the surface. He reached out but stopped before touching. Then her eyes opened. Just like that. No warning, Violet. And glowing, she didn't scream or attack. She didn't speak either. She just looked at him. They stared at each other for several seconds. Then she sat up. Slowly, carefully, her hands moved to the edge of the bed, testing her balance. Her long fingers curled around the edge, her feet brushing the cold floor. She didn't fall. She looked strong now. Too strong. "You're awake," Darren said softly, not sure why his voice shook. She tilted her head. The translator was gone. Still broken, but her body language. It spoke volumes. She stood. Darren instinctively stepped back, reaching for his pistol on the nearby shelf, not to shoot just in case. She saw the motion. Her eyes narrowed, but she didn't move toward him. Instead, she reached out slowly and touched the place where the transfusion had connected them, her inner elbow. Then, with a strange grace, she took one slow step toward him. Darren raised a hand, stopping her. "I don't know what you're trying to do," he said, heart racing. "But you're safe. I won't hurt you." She stepped closer. His hand tightened around the grip of the pistol. And then she knelt. Right there before him, both knees on the metal floor, head lowered, hands on her thighs. Not like a slave, like someone scared. It was a ritual, a vow. "What are you doing?" he whispered. She looked up. No fear in her face, only certainty. Calm, glowing certainty. Then, without the help of a translator, she spoke a single word. "Yarvik." He didn't understand. She pressed her hand to her chest, then reached out slow. Respectful and gently touched his. "Yarvik," she repeated. Darren swallowed. "Is that a name?" She shook her head. Her fingers moved to her throat, then to his. Then her lips shaped a new sound. "Bound," she said slowly. His blood ran cold. "Wait. What?" She placed her palm fully over his heart. Her skin was warmer than it had been before. Almost human. No, I didn't. He. She leaned forward. Closer, too close. Her lips brushed his ear. Her breath was soft. "Bound," she said again. This time in perfect human English. Then she stood, turned around, and calmly walked back to the bed. She lay down again, eyes closing, face peaceful. Darren didn't move for a long time. That night, he couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw hers. The way she looked at him. The way she knelt. The word she whispered, "Bound." What did that mean? Some kind of ancient oath? A biological bond? A cultural rite? He had no idea. He pulled. Up the med logs again. Her vitals were still steady. But something new blinked on the screen. Genetic. Crosslink detected. He frowned, opened the scan, and there it was. A small piece of human DNA had attached itself to her genome. His DNA, not rejected. Not broken down. Accepted, merged. The system flagged. It as impossible. But it was happening. His blood had changed her, and now something was changing him too. because for the first time in years, Darren felt warmth inside, not just from her touch, but from something deeper. He felt seen, and that terrified him. Asterisk. Darren didn't leave the medical chamber for 2 days, he told the outpost commander that he was monitoring the alien. Technically, it was true. But deep down, he wasn't watching her like a medic. He was watching like a man trying to understand something that wasn't in any book file or mission protocol. She was changing, not just her vitals or her DNA. Her eyes held a different light now. They didn't burn with the cold hate of a Gesserit soldier anymore. They watched him, followed. Like she already knew him, like he belonged to her. And somehow, Darren could feel something pulling him too. Not attraction, not yet, but connection. A thread, invisible, woven between their hearts. One she had tied when he gave her his blood. He woke up on the 3rd night, sweating. His dreams were strange again, midges of blue fire, voices he didn't understand, her face smiling through light. And when he opened his eyes, she was there, standing silently at the foot of his bunk. No armor, no translator, no weapons. Just her, tall, glowing faintly, her violet eyes watching him. He sat up slowly. How? How did you get out? She didn't answer. Asterisk, instead she walked closer, each step quiet, graceful. She wasn't touching the floor. She stopped beside him, her hands at her sides. Then she spoke. I remember dying. Darren blinked. Her voice was soft, calm, almost human, but with a rhythm like music. I was falling, inside my ship. The cold was closing in. My blood was leaving me. I thought it was the end. He stayed quiet, and then she whispered, You came. Knelt again, just like before, but this time closer. Right in front of him, you gave me what no one else would. You offered your life, your blood, to me. Even when I was your enemy, Darren tried to find words. You would have done the same. No, she said simply. I wouldn't have. We don't save enemies. Not on my world. Not in my army. We survive. Alone. She looked up into his eyes. You didn't just give me blood. You broke a law inside me. A wall. And now, I'm not what I was. Her hand moved slow, carefully, and touched his chest. Again, right over his heart. Your blood runs in me now. It sings when you're near, it quiets when you speak. He stared at her, his voice dry. I don't know what you want from me. She tilted her head like she didn't understand his. Fear. I want nothing you don't offer freely. But our pact was sealed the moment I accepted your gift. In my people's code, what we call the life exchange, when one saves another with their own blood, a bond is formed. A life debt. But not just of service. She leaned closer. It is of body, soul, of nights spent warm, of loyalty that lasts beyond death. Darren's breath caught. She wasn't speaking in riddles. She was explaining what was already happening. She belonged to him now, because her biology, her instinct, her culture said so. Not more than that, she wanted to. Don't want a servant, he said finally, his voice tense. I didn't save you for this. I know, she whispered. That's why I choose it. Willingly. She stood again, eyes never leaving his. I am not human, she said. But your blood makes me something else now. I feel things I was, never meant to. I look at you, and my body reacts. My mind calms. I feel drawn to you, in ways I do not understand yet. Darren looked away, running a hand through his hair. This wasn't in any mission file. No war record. No briefing. What was he supposed to do? She turned, walking back to the chamber slowly. But before she entered, she paused in the doorway. You think you gave me a gift? He nodded. You did more than that. She looked over. Her shoulder. You made me yours. And now, I dream of you every night. The door slid shut. Darren sat in silence, his fingers curled over the edge. The bed, the med scanner on the wall chimed new data incoming. He walked over, pulled up. Her latest scan, his hands froze. Her heart rate was sinking to his. Not just when. They were together all the time. Even when they were apart, some part of her was mirroring his biology. Echoing him like a second heartbeat, he sat down, heart pounding. What had he started? Why did a small part of him not want to stop it? Darren didn't mean for it to happen. He hadn't planned it, hadn't wanted it. But now, when he walked down the metal halls of the outposts, people stared at him, not with hate, not with anger, but with something worse. Dash whispers. The alien girl, the one he saved. The one with glowing violet eyes, she followed him everywhere, not in a loud way, not in a demanding way. She walked silently behind him, her hands always at her sides, her head slightly lowered, but her eyes, always glowing, were focused on him and him alone, and the other humans. They noticed she follows him like a dog. One soldier muttered near the mess hall. I heard he gave her his blood. Like real blood. No filters, another added. Crazy. She's Ixari. They're killers. What if she snaps? Darren ignored them as best he could, but deep down, he knew they weren't wrong to be afraid. She was changing. So was he. That night, he found her outside his quarters again, sitting on the floor, waiting. He sighed. You can't be here. Every night, she looked up, expression calm. I am not here for sleep. I am here for you. That's not normal, he said firmly. I am not human, she replied. He ran a hand over his face. I didn't save you so you'd become mine. You say that, she said softly. But my people, we don't lie about bonds. When life is exchanged, we honor it. We give warmth, safety, affection. He shook his head. You don't owe me anything. Her voice dropped. It is not about what I owe. It is about what I feel. Those words hit harder than he expected. She rose slowly. You gave me something. I cannot return in full, but I want to try. I want to learn how humans love, how they care. I want to make you feel what I feel. I'm your enemy, he whispered. Not anymore, she said without hesitation. That night he locked his door, but he didn't sleep. By morning, word had reached command. Commander Brell stormed into the medical wing. I want her out of your room, out of your way. She's a security threat. She's not, Darren said calmly. She's a Ixari, for Star's sake. And you're attached. I'm not. Don't lie to me, Brell snapped. She follows you, sleeps outside your door. Their soldiers feel unsafe. He hasn't hurt anyone, Darren said. She's calm. She obeys orders. She's not a threat. Not yet, Brell growled. But she's bonded to you. And that's the problem. We don't know how far that bond goes. Darren clenched his fists. Alive because I broke. Protocol. I gave her my blood. I crossed the line for her. And now you want me to throw her out like trash? Exactly, Brell said coldly. Before this turns into something we can't control? That night, Darren sat beside her. She sensed something was wrong before he even opened his mouth. You're leaving me, she whispered. No, he lied. But you can't stay near me anymore. You need to sleep in the outer dorms. I will die, she said simply. That's not true. She placed a hand on her chest. When we are bound, distance hurts. You don't feel it, but I do. My body will fight the bond, will weaken me. I didn't mean for this, he said. I didn't ask for you to love you, she finished. He looked away. I don't understand human shame, she continued. I gave you nothing that was not mine to give. I offer comfort, loyalty, and closeness because it is real. Because I feel it. You're not human, he said. You can't know what this is. She stepped forward, slowly. Carefully then placed her forehead against his. Their breaths touched. I don't need to be human to know what warmth feels like, she said. I wake at night craving your scent, and my skin burns when you're gone. This isn't ritual. It's instinct. He closed his eyes. I'm scared, he admitted. Then let me stay, she whispered. So we can be scared together. Answer, but he didn't send her away either. In the following days, something changed. She smiled more. She spoke short human words she'd been learning. Food, warm, safe, yours. She began helping in the medical bay calm, precise, like she'd always belonged. Others watched, But the whisper slowed. Even the commander didn't say much anymore, because they all saw it. She wasn't some mindless creature obeying orders. She was a living, breathing woman who had chosen one man, and he, slowly, was choosing her too. One evening, she entered his room without asking. He turned, but didn't stop her. She sat beside him. Quiet, her hand found his. Her touch was no longer alien. It felt right. I am becoming something new, she said softly. I know. Do you still want me to leave? He didn't answer. Instead, he squeezed her hand gently. Her body relaxed. And that night, when she curled beside him in silence, she didn't whisper a single word. She didn't have to. Her heartbeat against his said it all. Asterisk. It was in her eyes. That's where Darren saw it first. The deep violet had softened. Not in color, but in something else. Something behind the glow. Her stares weren't just alien anymore. They had warmth, emotion, hesitation. She blinked more now. Tilted her head when confused. Smiled when he did, though it still looked strange. On her sharp, elegant face, she was changing. Every day. Faster than he could explain at first. He thought it was just behavior, her mimicking his actions. Her body adapting, but it wasn't mimicry. Something deeper was happening. Something real. One morning, after she'd helped repair a broken supply drone, she stumbled on the way back. It's only for a second. Darren rushed to catch her. Her hands caught his arms, gripping tightly, and in that moment, her skin flared with faint golden light. Her breath quickened. Her pupils dilated. Her pulse matched his, beat for beat. He stepped back slowly, heart racing. That wasn't normal. She nodded. It's accelerating. What is? She paused, struggling to find the right human word, then said, I think. I'm becoming like you. Asterisk in the lab. Darren ran her latest scan. He sat in silence as the results loaded. One of the medical AI assistants flashed a warning. DNA variation. Detected unstable hybridization in progress. Source origin. Human donor. Status. Irreversible. He stared at the screen. You're not just absorbing traits. You're fusing. Her voice was calm behind him. My cells recognize your blood as truth. My body thinks I must adapt to hold it, to protect it. That's not how biology works, he muttered. But even as he said it, he remembered something else. The Exori had no recorded cases of surviving foreign blood. Their immune systems violently rejected any outside fluid. Yet she had survived. Not just survived. Thrived. How do you feel? He asked. Warm, she said. Hungry. For things I don't understand. I want to be close. To breathe your air. To feel your skin. He turned slowly. Her eyes shimmered. And he realized with a sudden chill, she wasn't just changing on the inside. Her body was. Too. Her skin had once been hard and ridged across the collarbones and arms armored. Like natural plating. Now it had softened in places. Smoother, slightly warmer to the touch. The color remained blue, but less intense. More like pale moonlight than cold steel. Her voice, once echoing and sharp, now held rhythm, tone, emotion, and her face still. Alien, still beautiful now, moved with subtle expressions, concern, curiosity, longing. She wasn't becoming human, but she wasn't fully Exari anymore either. She was something. In between. Later that evening, the base comes buzzed with an incoming, encrypted alert. Darren walked into the control room. Commander Brell stood by the main console, arms crossed. What is it? Darren asked. Long-range scan picked up 3 Exari vessels. Entering this sector, Darren stiffened. Here. Yes. And they're not cloaked. They want to be seen. He looked at the blinking red dots on the star map. What do they want? Brell's jaw tightened. They sent a message. He pressed a button. A voice crackled through the speaker's alien, cold, translated by the system. We have detected royal blood interference. One of our own has been altered. We demand her return. Darren felt like the air had been sucked. From the room, they mean her, he said quietly. Yes, Brell confirmed. Your bondmate. She's not a weapon. She's not a spy. She's something worse. Brell growled. She's a symbol, a break in their genetic code, a threat to their purity. They'll do anything to erase her now. And you? Darren clenched his fists. We're not giving her up. Brell looked at him. You're willing to fight the Ixari over her? I didn't ask for this bond, Darren said. But I won't break it, not now. Behind him, the door opened. She entered, quiet as always. I heard, she said softly. They know. Yes, Darren said. And they're coming. She walked to him, calm. Then I must go. No, he said, stepping closer. Won't let them take you. If I stay, they'll burn this outpost, kill everyone. Don't care you do, she said, placing her hand on his chest again. That's what makes you different. That's why I chose you. He looked into her eyes, half alien, half something new. I won't lose you. She smiled faintly. Then we fight. That night, she didn't sleep beside him like before. She stood outside. Under the stars alone, silent Darren joined her. The ice moon glowed beneath their feet. The stars above shimmered like old gods watching from far away. They see me as broken, she said. They're wrong, he replied. I don't want to be Ixari anymore. You're not, he said gently. Her hand found his. I want to be yours. You already are. And as they stood together under the frozen sky, the stars watched something rare. A new kind of being. A new kind of bond. And in the silence, the future held its breath. Asterisk, the Ixari ships came just after dawn, 3 of them sleek. Black and burning cold with power slid through the clouds above the ice moon like shadows with fire in their veins. No warning, no talk, just presence. They didn't hide, because they didn't need to. The message had already been sent. Return the broken one, or be broken with her. Inside the base, the tension was sharp enough to cut steel. Soldiers moved quickly. Shields activated. Weapons loaded. The base had never been under full lockdown before. But now alarms pulsed like a heartbeat no one could ignore. Darren stood in the command chamber, staring at the large holoscreen showing the alien ships circling above. She's royalty, isn't she? Brell asked flatly. Darren didn't answer. You didn't just save a soldier, the commander continued. You bonded with someone important, someone sacred to them, and now they think she's been tainted. She's not tainted, Darren growled. She's becoming something better. Brell looked at him. They'll never see it that way. Behind them, the doors opened with a soft hiss. She entered, but not as the shy, confused woman Darren had saved. She stood tall, wrapped in a flowing cloak made from the remains of her battle uniform. Her blue skin shimmered faintly, silver veins. Glowing under the surface, her eyes still violet, still sharp, held a new strength. Human strength. She looked at the commander first. I will go to them, she said. Darren turned. No, they came for me, she said calmly. Not for this base. Not for your people. If I leave, they leave. You don't know that? Brell muttered. Yes, I do, she replied. Ixari pride is ancient. They won't lower themselves to speak twice. If I resist, they will burn everything. But if I stand before them, maybe they'll let you live. Darren shook his head. I'll take you apart. Cut out every cell I gave you. I know, she said quietly, but maybe. You'll do it after you're safe. Stop, he said, stepping forward. You're not a sacrifice. I'm yours, she whispered. Isn't that what this means? It means you don't have to die alone. She touched his cheek, eyes soft now. Then don't let me walk alone. Outside the gates, the snowstorm had calmed. The air was sharp, the sky wide and empty. The 3 alien ships had landed like knives in the distance, their engines humming low. Darren and she walked side by side, slow, silent. Soldiers watched from the wall, his fingers tight on triggers, unsure if they were witnessing bravery or goodbye. As they crossed the last hill, figures appeared. Ixari warriors, tall, armored faces, hidden by silver masks. Their breath hissed through tubes. It's cold and perfect. In the center stood one without a mask, a male. His face was older, but beautiful. In a harsh way, silver markings carved down both cheeks. His eyes glowed brighter than hers. He stepped forward. "You were chosen to lead the bloodline," he said in their language. "You crawl beside filth." She didn't flinch. "Lived because of him. You died as Ixari the moment his blood entered you. He saved me. He destroyed you." She reached back and took Darren's hand. Every Ixari warrior twitched. The older male stepped forward again. "We do not tolerate weakness. You know this." "Then I will not beg for mercy," she said. He nodded once, then looked at Darren. "You gave her your blood." "I did," Darren said firmly. "You think you've changed her, but it is you who will suffer. She is not your mate. She is not your kind." "No," Darren said. "She's something more, something new." The Ixari leader turned to her again. "One last chance. Return. Submit to cleansing. You will live empty, but alive." She looked down, then slowly back at Darren. "I would rather die as myself than live as their slave." He tightened his grip on her hand. The leader raised one arm, the other. Warriors stepped forward, weapons drawn. She stepped forward too, but her skin began to glow bright this time. Silver and gold threads lit up along her arms, neck, and spine. Darren stared. "What's happening?" "I don't know," she whispered. Her body trembled, but not in fear. Power, surge, change 20. A ripple of light pulsed from her chest outward. The snow around her feet melted instantly. The Ixari hesitated. "She's evolving," one of them said in a low voice. Then without warning, her back arched, and a beam of energy burst from her shoulders like wings made of light. She screamed not in pain, but in freedom, and the warriors stepped back. Even the leader froze. Darren didn't move. She turned to him, panting, her eyes wider than ever, "I think."
"Your blood didn't just change me," she said. He swallowed. "What then?"
She looked toward the Ixari, her voice fierce. "It awoke something ancient in me," the leader pointed. "Destroy them." But the warriors hesitated because they no longer saw a broken Ixari woman. They saw a new kind of being. Not fully alien, not fully human, but something in between. Light in her bones and purpose in her eyes. She raised a hand, and every weapon aimed at her was shattered into dust. Asterisk snow swirled around her feet. But none of it touched her. She stood tall, glowing like a living flame. The energy wings rising from her back weren't made of feathers or fire. They were strands of pulsing light, shaped by emotion and memory. Her skin shimmered with gold, veins now tracing patterns over her arms and collarbones. Her eyes were no longer just violet. They burned with a human spark. Darren stood behind her, breathless. She had just destroyed every weapon aimed at her with nothing but willpower and instinct. No rage, no screams, no hate, just calm strength. The Ixari, warriors, trained, disciplined, loyal, lowered their heads. All but one, the old leader, stepped forward again, his voice shaking. "You are not one of us. You are not one of them. You are abomination." She looked at him without fear. "No, I'm the future." He raised his own blade, one not made of plasma, but something ancient, ceremonial. The kind used in final executions. "If you will not return," he said, "then you will end here." Before anyone could move, she stepped in front of Darren, shielding him. "I am not afraid," she said quietly. But Darren stepped forward too. "Neither am I." She turned to him, her glow dimming slightly. "If you die now, everything you gave me ends." He shook his head. "Everything I gave you lives inside you." A tear slipped down her cheek, not because of fear, because someone finally chose her, not for her power, not for her name, but simply because she was the Ixari. Leader charged. She didn't move because she didn't need to, before the blade could reach her chest. It froze in mid-air, then slowly melted away into sparkling dust. The old warrior stumbled back, gasping. "What are you?" he whispered. "I'm a bond," she said, "not a weapon. I'm born from choice, not command." Her voice carried across the snow. "I was your heir, You're perfect, warrior. But you only taught me war. He taught me kindness. He gave me blood, but not to own me, to save me. She turned to the other Exari. I am more than both of you now. I am light and dark, alien and human. You can follow him out of hate, or follow me out of hope. There was silence. Then one warrior stepped back. Then another dropped their weapon. Then a third knelt. And slowly, they all did. Even the old leader sank to one knee. Not out of defeat, but understanding. Later that night, after the ships had lifted off and the warriors left in silence, the base was calm again. But something had changed in the stars, in the air, in them. She sat beside Darren in his quarters, wearing a simple cloak, her head on his shoulder. No guards, no fear. Just the two of them. She had chosen to stay. Not out of duty, but love. He held her hand. The soft light still pulsed under her skin, but it didn't frighten him anymore. What happens now? He asked quietly. She smiled. We make a new story. For who? I said. The bond we made wasn't just for us. It's a seed. It will grow. He laughed gently. You always speak like a queen. She turned to him, brushing her lips against his ear. Then that makes you a king. Months passed, then seasons, then a year. The ice moon became something new, no longer just a battlefield or a cold outpost. It became a meeting place, a symbol where Exari and human could speak without war, where blood wasn't spilled, but shared, and at the center of it all stood two figures. A man once seen as foolish for saving an enemy, and a woman once called broken for accepting his blood. Now, they were legends, but in their small home, far from the command halls and glowing towers, they were simply two people in love. She grew warmer every day, her body now a blend of biology that no scanner could explain. She still glowed in the dark, still moved like starlight. But she also laughed now, teased, cried, and kissed him like she was born to. And one morning, she placed his hand gently on her stomach. A new heartbeat pulsed inside. Not human, not Exari. Both you. Changed me, she whispered. No, he replied. We changed each other. The galaxy would one day tell their story like a myth. The human who gave his blood to a dying alien, and the alien who gave her whole self in return. But they didn't care for legends. They only cared for one thing, each other. Forever, the end.